Taffy loved her job. For 9 years, she woke up before the sun, fueled by coffee and the smiles of the kids on her bus. She knew their names, their favorite songs, their dreams. She was more than a driver. She was a protector, a confidant, a friend. Driving a school bus wasn't just a job. It was her calling. Rain or shine, she kept those wheels turning, ensuring each child arrived at school and back home safe and sound. Taffy took pride in her perfect driving record. She knew the importance of her responsibility. These children were precious cargo. Their safety was her top priority. She navigated the busy streets, the sleepy neighborhoods, always alert, always focused. Through the years, she witnessed it all. Fender benders, reckless drivers, even the occasional stray dog. But nothing could have prepared her for what awaited her on Route 105. The year 2020 brought the world to a standstill. COVID-19 swept across the globe, leaving fear and uncertainty in its wake. Schools shut down, buses sat idle, and Taffy found herself at home, grappling with an invisible enemy. The virus hit close to home, claiming the life of her beloved aunt. Grief washed over her, a heavy cloak she couldn't shake off. During her time off, Taffy reflected on her life, her purpose. The pandemic had a way of making you reevaluate everything. She missed the children, the familiar rumble of the bus engine, the sense of purpose her job gave her. When schools finally reopened, Taffy was eager to return. She missed her routine, the camaraderie with her fellow drivers, the feeling of being needed. Little did she know that her return to the open road would lead her down a path she never expected. The air crackled with a different kind of tension when Taffy returned to work. The pandemic lingered, but a different kind of unease filled the air. This time, it wasn't a virus, but something more insidious, something whispered in hushed tones. Taffy's usual route was no longer available. She was assigned to Route 105, a route known to run through a predominantly white rural part of town. Veteran drivers exchanged knowing glances when they learned of her assignment. Some offered vague warnings, cautioning her to be careful. They spoke of a different atmosphere on that route, an unspoken tension that hung heavy in the air. Taffy, ever the optimist, brushed it off. She believed in doing her job, in treating everyone with respect, regardless of race or background. She refused to let fear dictate her actions. The first few days on Route 105 were, well, uneventful. Taffy greeted each child with her usual warmth, her smile as bright as the yellow bus she drove. She navigated the winding roads, her eyes always scanning for potential hazards. But as days turned into weeks, a pattern began to emerge. She noticed a pickup truck, always the same one, a beat-up Ford with a Confederate flag sticker on its back window. The truck would appear out of nowhere, tailgating the bus, its horn blaring. The first few times, Taffy dismissed it as coincidence. But the truck's persistence, the way it seemed to target her specifically, gnawed at her. The man behind the wheel, his face contorted in a sneer, made sure she saw him. He would swerve dangerously close to the bus, his actions a clear attempt to intimidate her. The man's harassment escalated. He began parking his truck at the bus stop, blocking her path. He'd hurl insults, racial slurs laced with venom, his words cutting deep. Taffy's heart pounded in her chest, fear a bitter taste in her mouth. She'd grip the steering wheel, her knuckles white, her eyes darting between the road and her rearview mirror. She reported the incidents to her transportation director, her voice trembling as she recounted the man's actions. She provided descriptions of the truck, the man, the times and locations of each encounter. But her pleas for help were met with indifference. The director dismissed her concerns, suggesting she was overreacting. He told her to toughen up and focus on her job. Taffy felt a knot of despair tighten in her chest. Her voice, her concerns were silenced, ignored. She was alone, left to face this man's hate on her own.